Okay, guys, what is up? Got my coffee and water as always. Let's get into it. So, recently, I think like about a month ago, I met up with one of my friends and I was just talking to him about a situation that went on in my personal life, and he was like giving me advice on it while also giving me a little bit of his own personal anecdote. And what he said really stuck with me, and it was always do what is right, even if it hurts someone else or even if it is at the expense of someone else. So what I extrapolated this to mean in my own case is just rather to trust your own instinct, trust your gut, trust your intuition, because most of the time your intuition is right. And in terms of like doing something right, and yeah, sometimes there might be like collateral damage, but you have to be aware of that and take that into account and still continue regardless of that. And it sounds like a bad thing to do, but it's about weighing it up in your head and thinking, okay, what is for the greater good? What would do the most good? Like, sometimes you have to make a decision between two things, and neither one is a particularly appealing decision, and they both have like negative repercussions, but which one has the least amount of negative repercussions and the most amount of positive? And even though, yeah, someone might get offended, someone might get upset, it's about choosing the right one. And that's a really important skill to hone in, being diplomatic with your decisions and trusting your intuition to know which one will follow through better. So even though, yeah, you might end up hurting someone, you might end up making someone else upset, sometimes it's worth it to make that sacrifice just for the greater good. And I feel like that's something a lot of people these days might be scared to do, because they don't want to be the ones making the decisions. I feel like if you're the one making the decision, that puts you in a position of superiority and authority, because then you're responsible for the decision, but also you can own the decision. You can say, yeah, I made that decision. You're the one that's responsible. People come to you asking questions, blah, blah, blah. And it just puts you in a position of authority in your life, rather than being like a stick that's being blown by the wind. You're a firm tree that's planted, that makes your own decisions, that does things of your own accord. And of course, sometimes you're going to make mistakes, sometimes you're going to make decisions that aren't the best. But in the long run, that will train that skill inside of you of being able to better make decisions and to better make the better decisions in a diplomatic way. A lot of people have said that I've been really good at that skill, at like being diplomatic and making like the right decisions in the right situations. And I feel like that's just the only reason is because I've had time to do it, and I've put myself in this position from an early stage on, where I make a lot of decisions earlier on in my life, which has enabled me to hone in that skill and become better at it. Because I've made mistakes along the way. But like I said, trust your gut and always do the right thing, even if it is at the expense of someone else. Catch you guys in the next one.